Welcome, everybody, to this week's edition of Sports Shorts TV. I'm Ronnie Rance here in the LeBaire Studios in Baton Rouge. It's a special guest joining us on today's show. Instead of Joel Davis, we went older and better looking. Glenn Guilbeau, how are you, sir?
Oh, wow. Thank you. Thank you. Good. Good. Happy New Year to you.
Appreciate it. You too. Of course, Glenn's done a great job for how many years have you been a sports writer? 30
Too long. Too long.
Over 30.
Early 80s.
Over
early
30s.
80s.
Over
Yeah,
30.
yeah, about 30.
About 30?
Yeah.
No. We're in the late 35.
Well, there was
about 35 years.
Well, there was a couple of years in there where I did some other stuff.
Correct, but then you realize your true calling. But over 30 years, Glenn Guilbeau, of course, covering sports throughout the South, but mostly in Louisiana, and he'll be. We'll have a lot of great stories here for you on the show. But we'll start off the show just first off. Big stories over the last week. The Super Bowl is set. We know that the New England Patriots are going back again for the seventh time since 2001 season. The Patriots are going to be back in the Super Bowl, taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. I personally, since the Saints are in it, Glenn, was hoping for Jacksonville versus Philly.
Oh, yeah.
Because that would have been just the worst Super Bowl. You know, no Minnesota being the home game. Didn't want to see that happen. That's not going to happen. And didn't want the Patriots, just because that's a story. I was hoping it was going to be Jacksonville versus Philly, and it'd have the worst ratings in the history of the Super Bowl.
How about Belichick and Saban retire on the same day so we can all enjoy football again?
Right.
Okay?
Right.
And I'm a Saban guy. I mean, I even like Saban, but I'm getting tired of Alabama winning every year. But yeah, it would have been great too if the Saints should have won that game. That's the freakiest ending. So you'd have a Breeze, Brady Super Bowl combined
awesome.
age 79.
Right.
First 40-year-old quarterback against the first 39-year-old quarterback. That would have been awesome. And the Saints deserve to get to Philly, and I think they might have got beat by Philly, no question. But I think they'd have gave Philly a good game and could have won.
Before we get down the road, we got so much to talk about on all that. But just your reaction to what the Patriots are doing, and it's eerie how in line it is with what Nick's doing at Alabama and all the ties and everything. But what you got to give New England more credit than what. What Nick does, because you've got salary cap issues to deal with in the NFL.
Plus, you don't get any, there's no judgment involved. It's playoffs, period.
Right.
You got to win these games.
Right. You don't get a break.
Right, exactly. And now you can't lose as many games in college as you can in the NFL, but there's some gray area in college that you can get through.
Pats do get a break in that they play in this horrific division.
Yeah, that's
against
true.
Buffalo, the Jets, and Miami. So, that compared to the NFC South, not even the same. So they get a break throughout the year to pad a bunch of wins, which gives them home field advantage every year.
Right.
So they do get a break.
Yeah, they have rental wins. They have a few NFL teams with rental wins. Right.
But you do you earn what you keep in the NFL, and what they're doing is just
consistency.
amazing.
And look how many times they almost won the Super Bowl too. With the Giants. And just so consistent with Belichick and Brady. Brady's great, but it's nice to play quarterback for the best coach ever.
Right.
And because both sides of the ball on the Patriots are usually pretty good. So, I think he has some advantages over some other quarterbacks in the NFL that haven't had great coaches. But he proves it almost every year.
Well, what's incredible to me about the Patriots is that, we've seen it throughout history, is that you win Super Bowls. Usually that means you got a number of Pro Bowl players and all-pro players, which then means you got to pay them more.
Sure.
And then when you win, the salaries go up even more. And so the problem is in the NFL, is free agency and salary caps. And they have done a masterful job of not only getting Tom Brady, but a lot of other players to play for less money because they enjoy winning and buying into this team concept, which is just unheard of.
Yeah, I think Belichick is the best at personnel skills. I mean, he can just plug players in, and you should. No other NFL team should ever make a trade with the Patriots because the other team always gets ripped off, especially the Saints. And he just knows how to deal players. He knows when to get rid of them. He knows when to keep them for the most part. And he's just good every year. He's so consistent. Did you see that shirt he was wearing yesterday? It's something you might wear, to cut the grass.
Right.
It was awful. Even for him, it was awful.
Yeah, it was his post-game sweatshirt. Didn't even have anything on. It was a blue sweatshirt, sleeves cut. I mean, it looked like something your old grandpa would be wearing. You go, Grandpa, really? You going with that?
Yeah, exactly. Hey, look at my rings, buddy.
You're right, exactly. And you've been a sports writer for a long time, and
35 years.
And you've over 35 years. We've established that, and you've covered tough to deal with coaches. Bill Belichick. I mean, you don't get anything.
No,
I mean,
it's almost like he's not tough to deal with because you just know nothing's going to happen.
Right.
And he usually doesn't really get mad and yell at you like Saban has, or John Brady, even our boy. But but that would just be that's must not be fun covering Belichick.
The Patriots made a decision, right? They decided we're going to put our eggs in the Tom Brady basket. They did that halfway through the season. They traded Jimmy G over to the 49ers. Obviously, that looks like that's going to work out well for the 49ers. They got their future quarterback. But the Patriots made that decision. They said, look, we're all in on Tom Brady. We feel like he's going to be able to play X amount of years. We're giving up the future for the now. There's nothing that leads you to believe that Tom Brady's even close to retiring. I mean, he's the Satchel Paige of NFL football.
Yeah, and
the George Blanda.
It's a couple of things working. Guys, athletes nowadays take much better care of themselves. Plus, the NFL,
the rules.
The rules help
it's
the
two-hand touch for the quarterback.
So I mean, I think Breeze can play another few years too. I mean, look at the game he had. My God, he shredded the best defense in the NFL in the second half and had another great year. So, it's going to be fun watching Breeze and Brady play into their 40s.
Who's fire? Because they both are, Breeze is 1 year behind Brady as far as age, I believe.
Yeah. He just turned 39. Brady's 40. I think
so
maybe 1 or 2.
Yeah, a year and a half or whatever behind. Whose fire burns out first? Because they both could probably physically play to whatever age they want. It's just going to come down to who wants to go through the training and the process and all year in and year out. Who steps away first? Brady or Breeze?
I think Breeze may step away first because he's not in that easy division, and he doesn't play for Belichick. I mean, Peyton's great, but he's no Belichick, and not as far as the overall team. The Saints have most of the time, not this year, but most of the time they've always had issues on defense, and they're really just now getting better on the offensive line from after the Super Bowl, whereas Brady has never really had any issues to deal with his roster. But it looks like the Saints they're a young team. They're dead money is actually now it's at LSU. It's the dead money. They don't have the money problems anymore. So I think Breeze could be around for 2 or 3 years. But Brady looks like he's got the fountain of youth going.
I mean, Brady, to me, if the Patriots believed that enough to trade Jimmy G, they're saying we believe Tom's saying he's going to play till he's 45. They're believing that.
Well, that's an interesting story. The word is that Brady convinced the Patriots ownership to do that, not Belichick.
Not Belichick.
Belichick is in his rotation of it's time to get rid of Brady.
Yeah, a 1 year deal, 1 year
other
deal.
Players. Yeah. But I think Brady's going to win that battle, maybe.
Yeah, well, he obviously did. And I think you're right. You think Breeze is going to kind of walk away first. I think Breeze will walk away first for 2 reasons.
He gets hit more. He
gets hit more. He's a smaller guy. He's 5 inches shorter. Right. Physically, I think his arm is not as healthy as it was.
Never was.
And then, oh, by the way, he's got, 3 kids? Yeah. Well, so I think he's got the family and the youth of the kids and all those things where Tom, I think is a little more central focus. Even though they both are, I think the family and the kids and the health pulls Breeze away before Tom does. But
Breeze is a machine. He's a workout machine, and he's in great shape. At least 2 more years for Drew Brees.
He's Glenn Guilbeau. You can check him out. Follow him on Twitter at LSU Beat Tweet. There's the tweet Twitter account on your screen. All kind of good stuff. Glenn's out there. I'm gonna average about 15 tweets a day, probably, and during the
season. It depends. On game days, a lot more than that, and when the news is heavy. a lot more than that, but at least 10 a day.
Yeah, follow him on LSU Beat Tweet is the Twitter for Glenn Guilbeau. Of course, he works with USA Today Network in Louisiana. We'll take a timeout. We'll be back. We'll talk some Saints. We'll get into LSU and a whole lot more. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with Sports Shorts from the LeBaire Studios right after this.
When my wife and I started Relief Windows, what we were trying to do, what our goal was to give a quality job to a homeowner. Everybody's scared of contractors. We wanted to change the mold of what that is. Not showing up on time, not answering the phone, somebody running with your money. The reason why you should pick Relief Windows to do your renovation of your home, windows, doors, hardy plank or siding, is because of the experience, quality service of our company. Service is everything we have. It's the foundation of our company. We're going to show up on time. We're going to do the job right. Over 60% of our customers is customer referral. We're a local company here in Baton Rouge, built in Baton Rouge, staying in Baton Rouge. Okay. The job's not done until you're happy and we're happy. It's built the old-fashioned way, with a handshake. Here at Relief Windows, it's an honor to be official window, door, and siding company of LSU Athletics, from one winning team to another.
Appliance Distributors of Louisiana are appliance experts who have been in business for over 35 years. ADL provides worry-free, full-service solutions for the whole home. ADL works with designers, builders, or individual homeowners like me when I was remodeling my home after the Great Flood in August 2016. ADL offers special homeowner discounts, just like the ones the builders get. Go to ADLappliances.com and see all the major name brands, or stop by their store on Nicholson Drive in Baton Rouge. ADL services the entire state of Louisiana, so call, log on, or stop by today. Appliance Distributors of Louisiana. If you're an avid sports fan, then you need to check out the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame, located in historic downtown Natchitoches, next to the Chateau St. Denis Hotel and the Natchitoches Convention Center. The Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame is where the rich history of Louisiana sports is told through the pictures, artifacts, and by the legends themselves in video archives. Come to the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame and Northwest Louisiana History Museum and visit a world-renowned architectural marvel. For more information and to purchase tickets to the annual Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame events, visit lasportshall.com/purchase. Welcome back, everybody. Ronnie Rance alongside sports writer Glenn Guilbeau of the USA Today Network in Louisiana. And we're talking a little Super Bowl, the last break. Patriots and what they're doing is just incredible. We'll quickly hit on the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm just glad the Minnesota Vikings didn't get the Super Bowl because I didn't want them to break the streak. You know, they're still holding out hope that one day the Saints may host another Super Bowl and maybe be in it. But I didn't want to hear all about Minnesota hosting that Super Bowl, but at the same time, it probably would have made for a better game in the sense that you got the evil empire of New England, you know, going in. Can they win a Super Bowl in somebody's home field? That would have just coronated them even more in their dynasty run. But we're not going to have that. Instead, it's about a backup quarterback and about a great Philadelphia Eagles defense. You know, still a good story. And that Eagles defense is going to be a legitimate challenge.
Oh, yeah, that's a very good defense. Foles played a very good game against a very good defense. And the other good thing is we don't have to see that touchdown anymore. And hopefully that play will kind of fade away because they really did get lucky on a freak play. But, you know, if you have a good defense like the Eagles do, I think that gives them a chance against the Patriots. I mean, the Giants did it. Nobody expected them to do it in those two upsets. I think they could give them a good game, but I would be hard pressed to bet against the Patriots.
I'm not betting against the Patriots. I'm not expecting Nick Foles to walk away off the field home to Lombardi over Tom Brady.
And what a story! Doug Peterson from Northeast Louisiana. First job was at Calvary Baptist in Shreveport. So that's a great story too.
Yeah, coached 4 years of high school football in Louisiana, and of course played at Northeast. And good guy. It's. I mean, we haven't even talked about the fact that Tom Brady brought his. They were down 20-10.
Yeah.
With 8.5 to go, and oh, by the way, no Rob Gronkowski.
Yeah.
And they come back and score. And who knows what Rob Gronkowski's going to be in the
Adjustments, man.
Super Bowl or not. I mean, I got to believe in 2 weeks the concussion thing he'll be back, but you never know. But I mean, it's just amazing what they're doing with a running back. You don't even know who he is, and
it's just like how Alabama came back against Georgia.
Yeah.
You think the game's over, and then nope. Saban and Belichick, the alien coaches.
Let's go back in time because I just got to get reaction. I mean, lifelong Saints guy and everything. You think back to the history of the Saints, Big Ben with the Falcons in the late 70s, and of course,
good memory.
Carney Lansford, barefoot kicker for the Rams, breaks your heart in '83. That was the first time I ever cried as a Saints fan.
Mike Langford
was it Mike Langford?
Mike Langford.
Carney Lansford is the second baseman for the Oakland A's in the late '80s, But Mike Lansford with the Langford with the barefoot kicks the 42-yarder or 41-yarder.
42. I just looked it up last night.
To break your heart. Kenny Stabler was the quarterback. In '83, the Saints would have been 8-8, made the playoffs as a wild card.
And they would have played at Dallas. Bum Phillips loved to play Dallas. So that would have been a cool playoff game.
So it didn't happen. And then, of course, even though it wasn't a dramatic ending, just the collapse against the Vikings in their first playoff game at home when they were such a good team and they just got drummed.
Yeah, I remember the CBS broadcast of that game. Brent Musburger apologized because they did almost all the pregame on the Saints,
right?
Because they had never made the playoffs,
right?
And that was a big dud. But another big loss was to San Francisco in January of 2012.
2011 season 12.
That was really a big. I wrote about all that over the weekend. That was a bigger loss because a win in that game puts you playing the Giants in the Dome, and they owned the Giants in the Dome. They beat them in 10, in 9, and in 11 in the regular season. So they could have probably gone to the second Super Bowl in 3 years.
Yeah.
A win the other Sunday would have put them against Philly. That would have been a tough win, but that was just a freak loss.
Been some big heartbreakers, but this one is one that I'll never get over, in the sense that
it was over.
It was over. I mean,
that's the thing.
There was so many ways for the Saints to win. I mean, to win the game.
Yeah.
And only one way that they could lose. It was just bizarre.
And in all the Hail Mary losses that you know about, and you were just talking about the Bluegrass Miracle, even on that play, LSU was trying to throw a touchdown.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Minnesota was not even trying.
They're just
trying
to throw a 30-yard out or 25-yard out.
And that makes it even more fluky. And bless his heart, the
Williams.
Safety, he knocked out Crawley, his own teammate. If he just holds back and tackles him inbounds, game's over.
Where were you during that? Everybody's got a where were they moment.
I was at home. I was at home watching. I wrote about it this weekend.
Did you have any? I mean, were you nervous? I mean, were you still like, I got to watch?
No,
this
I
to the
wasn't.
end?
I was celebrating because I was going to go to Philly. We had decided not to go to Minneapolis, and then I was going to go to Philly, and we were going to go to the Super Bowl if they advanced. But we decided not to go to Minneapolis twice.
Right.
But so I thought it was over, and my wife left the game when it was 17-0. She goes, "Oh, the Saints always lose when I watch. I'm not going to watch." She comes back and starts watching the last series.
Well, it was funny.
So it's her fault.
Yeah, it was funny. A friend of mine had his daughter, like 6-year-old daughter, had come by the house and was watching the game, and his daughter, while she was awake, they're down 17-0. She goes and takes a nap. She falls asleep on the sofa. The Saints come back. They take the lead with about 30 seconds to go. She wakes up. I'm like, go back to sleep. Get back to sleep.
Well, yeah, she woke up because they were celebrating.
She cursed this, the little 6-year-old cursed. But
tough loss.
yeah, it was, but I'll tell you what. the Saints fans, they have rallied around Marcus Williams, you know, and
that was good.
they have
Most of them did. There were some idiots.
Of course, there's going to be
Yeah.
people that, and look, I'm
He's
not,
a good player,
and,
Marcus
and I'm not going to
Williams.
back down on this show. I said, you know, I'm never going to forgive Marcus Williams. I mean, I'm not going to punch him in the face, and I wish him well in life, but I'm not going to forgive him. And quite honestly, I'd rather let's trade him. You know, let's get somebody. I don't want to see this guy. I don't want to hear about this guy. So personally, I'm never going to get over
Just
it.
for personal reasons, we're going to look. You're a good player, but we're going to trade you.
Personal reasons. If I can get you somebody around your type, I'd rather get rid of you. I don't want to see your face. But that said, I've been impressed at how the Saints and how the city has rallied around him and shown
Well, they're
tremendous
used
support.
to it. They're used to it.
We didn't expect to win, Marcus, so therefore you're forgiven. You're forgiven.
Well, and it, you know, and people say, oh, well, they lost the game earlier. You know, BS. You know, you only remember Warren Morris's home run. They scored about 9 other runs in that game. Okay, it's always the last thing that happened, especially in that game. But he's a great player, and they've had trouble in the secondary, and he's good, and they finally got the secondary good.
You know what's interesting
Secondary
is
is
in
really
the week
good.
since the game, and there's been so much coverage and breakdown and analysis on the national level, on NFL Network, ESPN, Fox, you name it, is that I agree with you. There's a million ways they could have won the game. Heck, I mean, with 3rd and 1, if you get the first down, you run the clock down to 3 seconds, you kick the field goal, you walk off. So you can blame the offensive line or the conservative play calling or whatever the case may be.
But that was all normal, though.
Yeah, that's all very normal. But at the end of the day, I had no problem with the way the Saints defense played the last
They even
play.
called a timeout and set it up.
Right.
They had it called perfectly.
I mean, I saw Rex Ryan, you know, on ESPN on Sunday morning, you know, breaking it down, saying the Saints should have rushed 3 instead of 4, and then they should have had the safety in the middle of the field. And he's like questioning the defensive play call. And I've seen other people.
It was right.
Look,
they had the players in the right spot.
Look, at the end of the
Marcus
day,
was in the right spot.
Yes, it was drawn up the way players got to make plays.
Yeah, and the
You know?
worst criticism was, or the worst explanation, worst transfer of blame, an old skip term.
Yeah, TOB.
Was when they said that he went in and did the phantom tackle because of the way they call pass interference. He was afraid. Hey, you stop and tackle him after he catches the ball.
Just stop.
You know, yeah.
It was a situation where you had a young player who was out of his mind, amped, and he knew he came in so fast, and
he couldn't slow down.
And he couldn't slow down because he knew he was going to hit him. But if you just play under control,
you're a safety. You're supposed to stay back.
Be safe.
By definition, be safe.
Be safe. Just wait till he catches it and then flip him, tackle him, a million different ways.
Yeah.
I mean, if the guy has the ability to catch it, and while you're tackling him, pull some enormous move to get out of bounds.
He deserved the
then
field
you know
goal
what?
try.
They deserve it. But in this case, the Vikings didn't do anything extraordinary to win the game. The Saints did something extraordinary to lose
Exactly.
the game.
Good point.
You know?
Very good point.
And people made the comparison between the LSU ending and this ending. Two different things. The Notre Dame guy made an unbelievable one-handed catch.
Right.
And did something out of ordinary, extraordinary.
Yeah.
And, you know,
and Dante Jackson did a poor job of tackling, as did John Battle. But but again, he was not trying to get out of bounds for a field goal.
Right.
He was trying to score.
Right, and you tip your cap more to that they made a play as opposed to, and if you watch the review, I mean the replay, the Vikings, I mean he's looking to get tackled. I mean he's expecting to catch it. Somebody hit him, and nobody's there. I'm going to go.
Yeah, exactly.
He's Glenn Guilbeau. You can check him out. USA Today Network in Louisiana. Where can the folks find you? All the different ways.
LSU Beat Tweet on Twitter, usatoday.com, wwltv.com. TheAdvertiser.com is probably the easiest one. That's the Lafayette paper. And my column on everything we've been talking about with that Saints loss is up there right now, updated with the Minnesota loss.
Well, you mentioned Skip Bertman, and Skip there's an event coming up that the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame is going to be putting on that Skip Bertman's going to be a part of. It's called LeBear's Legends of the Diamond. And by the way, Augie Garrido is going to join him. It's going to be
favorites.
10 national championships between Augie Garrido and Skip Bertman. It's going to be February 22nd. Save the date. It's the night before LSU and Texas's 3-game baseball series. Augie Garrido's coming in to watch that series at the box. He'll throw out the first pitch on one of the nights.
Have you seen his cooking show?
He does a great cooking show.
Yeah.
But for tickets, it's right there at the bottom of the screen. Give me a call or send me an email. We'll get you set up. We've got individual tickets and tables available. Very limited amount. up close and personal. And oh, by the way, a lot of other greats are going to be there. Paul Maneri's coming to the event. A lot of former Tiger greats and University of Texas baseball greats will be there. It's an evening with Augie Garrido and Skip Bertman. We'll hear them on stage. We'll have about a 45, 50-minute sit-down conversation interview. We'll show some of their highlights as well, the edited versions from Augie Garrido. But you don't want to miss it. It's going to be a fantastic event, one of a kind. Look, these two gentlemen are 80 years old. This is the last time they're ever going to be in the same room together. 10 national championships between them. They're the two greatest college baseball coaches of all time. Augie won 3 at Cal State Fullerton, 2 at the University of Texas. And oh, by the way, he won 5 national championships in 4 different decades.
Wow.
That is impressive.
And Skip, of course, with 5. And I think they met head-to-head in Omaha just one time?
No,
Maybe,
well, not in a championship game.
Yeah.
In a regular season, I think when Cal State Fullerton.
Oh, right, that's right. With Cal State Fullerton, and he met Texas in 2000.
In 2000, yeah. So incredible. Those two, a lot of great stories. Get your tickets now. They're going to go real fast. That's Thursday, February 22nd. Shoot me an email or hit me up on Twitter right there. Ronnie Rants at Hotmail. Ronnie Rants at Hotmail works. Ronnie Rants at lasportshall.com as well. And follow us on Twitter. You don't want to miss it. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll talk a little LSU football and basketball with Glenn Guilbeau. Don't go anywhere.
At Peak Performance Physical Therapy, we treat the athlete in everyone, from the Grand Slam hitter to grandparents. If your doctor prescribes physical therapy, ask for Peak Performance by name, getting you back in the game of life.
Relief Window Experience. Relief Window.
When my wife and I started Relief Windows, what we were trying to do, what our goal was to give a quality job to a homeowner. Everybody's scared of contractors. We wanted to change the mold of what that is. Not showing up on time, not answering the phone, somebody running with your money. The reason why you should pick Relief Windows to do your renovation of your home, windows, doors, HardiePlank siding, is because of the experience, quality service of our company. Service is everything we have. It's the foundation of our company. We're going to show up on time. We're going to do the job right. Over 60% of our customers is customer referral. We're a local company here in Baton Rouge, built in Baton Rouge, staying in Baton Rouge. Okay. The job's not done until you're happy and we're happy. It's built the old-fashioned way, with a handshake. Here at Relief Windows, it's an honor to be official window, door, and siding company of LSU Athletics, from one winning team to another.
Relief Windows.
BR Mattress Company is the only name you need to know when looking to buy a mattress anywhere in Louisiana. BR Mattress Company is located in the Live Oak Shopping Center on Florida Boulevard between North Foster and Acadian. BR Mattress Company offers all the top name brands at 50 to 75% off retail prices. That's a $5,000 mattress for only $1,500. BR Mattress Company is open 7 days a week, and owner Mitch Kimball and his staff will provide you with laser-like service and a PhD in mattress education. If you want the best night's sleep of your life, go see the experts, Baton Rouge Mattress Company.
At Peak Performance Physical Therapy, we treat the athlete in everyone, from the three-point shooter to the three-piece suit. If your doctor prescribes physical therapy, ask for Peak Performance by name, getting you back in the game of life.
Welcome back, everybody, to the LeBaire Studios in Baton Rouge. Ronnie Rants alongside Glenn Guilbeau, talking all kind of great sports here this past hour. Of course, Glenn been covering sports in Louisiana and South United States for over 30 years, and we were talking about the heartbreaking loss by the Saints but how at least we've got a little bit of revenge in the fact that, or feeling a little better this week now that Minnesota is not going to be in the Super Bowl at home. That would have been disgusting.
Yeah.
And as you're right, we'd have seen the play over and over
And it
for
would have-
2 weeks.
And it would have given that play,
More importance.
more
bigger
importance, and would have made it live forever.
Yeah.
If the Vikings would have won the Super Bowl. So now maybe it'll fade away.
Well, remember the Music City Miracle when they ran the throwback pass when Nashville, when the Titans beat the Bills.
Right.
That was the year the Titans made it to the Super Bowl. They made
Right,
it all the way.
right.
They lost to the Rams when they came a yard short. The Rams won behind Kurt Warner and.
But even
Marshall
that
Faulk.
one, they were trying to score.
Right. Right.
And that was a
trick
great play, yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think it was tied. I could
No,
be-
no, I think
they were
the Bills
behind?
were ahead. I think the Bills were ahead.
Okay,
Yeah,
Bills were
yeah.
ahead. But I mean, in that one, that was a wild card game, and then they won a couple more games, and they got to the Super Bowl. But at least it led directly. In this one, just like the Immaculate Reception, the Pittsburgh lost the next week in the playoffs. That was the Franco Harris caught out of the air Popeyes commercial. I grew up on that.
But you see, that didn't really that has not stopped the immortality of that play.
Right,
though.
right,
So
right.
maybe.
Well, but that one, I think the immortality is largely due to that commercial. Quite honestly,
Probably so, yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, because Popeyes grabbed that play and then turned it into a commercial that ran for years,
Yeah.
and it gave that thing some legs.
Sure,
And some,
sure.
whereas if it was just on NFL films, we probably wouldn't have seen it near as much.
And what else gave it some legs was the illegal nature of it.
Right.
Because there was always a question of whether it was really
Did
legal.
it hit the defender first, the
Yeah.
offensive player
Yeah.
first, or whatever? And then, of course, Pittsburgh went on to be a dynasty after that. That
Yeah,
was the kind of
yeah.
the start of their dynasty.
Yeah, that's a good point.
The LSU, let's talk LSU football at first. The season ends on a terrible way. It's amazing how one play.
I know.
Because at LSU won the game against Notre Dame, regardless of how good or bad they played. If they just come out 1 point ahead
Sure.
and win the game, the next 8 months would have felt so different for
yeah.
Coach O and this LSU football program. Instead, the one play goes against you, you lose in dramatic fashion, and now immediately from the time you lost until the time you play Miami, it's all negative.
Yeah, but then you had some other things happen with the Matt Canada getting fired and people not really overly excited about the Steve Ensminger hire, though I think it's a good hire, but the fan base is not excited about it. In fact, I would say the fan base is probably right now the least excited about an upcoming season I remember at LSU since going into the
Since the Les Miles.
2009 season, I would think.
Well, I would when LSU brought back Les Miles,
Oh, yeah.
and he didn't make any changes to the offense.
But they won the bowl game that year. They won their last two games, and even though it was a bad defense, Texas Tech, they looked really good on
Right, that's
offense.
true.
So I would think they're even a little higher than they are now. But you know what? It's all fool's gold because I wrote that before the game. The bowls really, they don't matter because the players that figure heavily in the bowls, often they're not coming back.
Right.
Geis had a good game. He's not coming back. LSU lost the Cotton Bowl to Texas in 2002 by a couple of touchdowns. Next year they won the national championship. It always doesn't relate or blossom into.
It's just about a good
season.
taste in your mouth.
It is, but it's kind of fool's gold. But there are a lot of question marks going into this season than there have been in several
All right,
years.
let's start with the offensive coordinator situation. Why did what in your opinion, and from everything you've heard, is it just simply a personality thing with Matt Canada?
I think it was personality. Orgeron and Canada did not mix. Plus, Orgeron would have made that work if he liked the offense, but he also didn't like the offense. Okay, but that's kind of
Isn't that
his
a little
mistake.
buyer's remorse? I mean,
Yeah,
like you
exactly.
knew what
He
you were
should have
getting.
known. He should have known. I think he just got caught up in the momentum
hoopla.
of hiring a big time guy, and he thought he could work it out. But that didn't work. So that's a mistake on his part. And really, the reasons he's saying he's hiring Ensminger now, those were all available a year
Right.
ago. So he should have hired him then. But it could end up being a good hire in the end because I think Ensminger has more common sense to what the players need to do. He knows the players. He's not got this fancy system he's trying to fit them to that's complicated. I remember, I mean, Geis is one of the most honest guys. He didn't understand the offense going into September last year.
The thing about Steve Ensminger, in my opinion, is that I think it'll work out in the standpoint of, is he capable of doing the job? Absolutely. Okay,
Yeah.
no question.
He's a
The
good play
resume's
caller.
there, got life experience, the whole 9 yards. Knows the personnel he's dealing with, knows the talent in Louisiana. So I think he can do that. I think where you lose on Steve Ensminger and where you just open yourself up is in recruiting. I mean, you now have a beast in Texas A&M who is going to be in your pocket on everybody you're on.
And a quarterback specialist.
And a quarterback specialist. And oh, by the way, you got Alabama, who's already been in your pocket on everybody you're
Right.
on. So now you're getting hit by both sides.
Yeah.
And you are just an easy target to be like, come on, Steve Ensminger. I mean, we've got the young, cool, hip guys. You know, Jimbo, national championship. Either way, they got something to sell. You don't.
Yeah.
And so you're just easy pickings. Whereas
And you've already been struggling at
Right.
recruiting quarterbacks
Right.
for the last 10 years.
And so,
You know?
to me, and by the way, you're taking a guy in Steve Ensminger, and I don't know how much, if you're the offensive coordinator, how much you can be out on the street, because he was a good recruiter. And especially
Yeah.
in North Louisiana, Steve
Especially
Ensminger
this past year.
did a good job in recruiting. And so now you're taking him off the beat,
Well,
so to speak.
he's
a
not gonna-
closer now. He's not the lead dog.
Yeah, he's still going to be recruiting North Louisiana, because I asked Ed that at the
he's
the
still
press
gonna do
conference.
both, huh?
He's not going to be recruiting Dallas and some other areas as much, but he's going to be focusing more on quarterback only recruiting.
Right.
Which I think is smart, because I don't know of a quarterback Coach Orgeron has ever signed.
Right.
He's kind of more recruits in general and defensive players and so forth. So that's one of the big issues. I mean, LSU, the quarterbacks they've brought in here, I mean, it's like they're a Sun Belt school. Maybe Miles Brennan is going to be good. I've heard he may be good. They like him, but the guy who picked him, the guy who identified him, Les Miles, had problems identifying high school quarterbacks his entire time here. So I got my doubts.
Well, look, I don't know. This is kind of like certain high schools, out there that I always get a kick out of certain high school football programs. They fire a coach when it's a good guy and runs a good program, and I think to myself, you could have Vince Lombardi come back and you're not going to win at certain places, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who. Steve Spurrier in 1992. Steve Spurrier could be your offensive coach next
Right.
year, and LSU football is not going to be good on offense.
Unless they have a quarterback.
I mean, but
Right.
you just lost your line. You just
Yeah.
lost your running backs.
Right.
You just lost your two best receivers. I mean, and what are you giving them? You're giving them two inexperienced rookie quarterbacks, basically,
right.
To mess with. So I don't know the expectations for LSU football. I don't care if who's the offensive coordinator.
Yeah,
You gotta relax next year. I mean, next year it's just crawl before you can walk.
Yeah. In fact, I kind of tend to believe that one reason Ed stuck with Danny Etling this past year was to make sure he won as many as he could this
to
year.
build up some chips.
Thinking
Yeah.
that, right, exactly, because
Yeah.
next year might win just 6 or 7.
Right.
I mean, they got a good receiver coming in Terrace Marshall and Giles, a transfer from Texas Tech, and but I don't see a running back like you had Jeremy Hill,
Right.
Fournette, Geis.
Right.
I don't see one. They got some
Right.
guys there, but not the same. And then there's some decent linemen in the program, and you have a transfer coming in on the offense, but I mean a lot of question marks. No tailback, no quarterback to really hang your hat on.
And those things are real. I agree with you. I had the conversation a few years ago with Cam Cameron at his daughter's 7th, 8th grade
Right.
volleyball game.
Right, I remember
My
you told me
daughter-
that, yeah.
And I asked Cam Cameron, because at the time, that was the year that Brandon Harris, as a freshman, went to Auburn. They gave him the one start after he threw a few touchdowns late in a loss against State.
Right.
And then he gets the start, looks fish out of water, wasn't
Sure,
ready, looked
sure.
in shell shock, couldn't get the plays in, and then he never to be seen again the rest of the year. And the thought by a lot of the fans was, just go ahead, take your lumps with Brandon Harris, get him the experience. You're not going to be good this year anyway, and let's build for the future. And his response to that, when I basically asked him about it point blank, was, we can do that, and there's no doubt that Brandon's the more talented option, and he can run around and make some things happen, and whatever, but you're going to take the good with the bad, right? I mean, he's going to throw interceptions, he's going to throw touchdowns, he's going to make fumbles. You know, there's a lot of mistakes he's going to make right now because he's not really truly ready. And the problem is that, you know, you might be able to. What's the ceiling with Brandon Harris as a freshman? Maybe win 7 games or 8 or
Right,
something.
right.
You know, but the bottom is we might lose. We might
Yeah.
only win 5 games or
Yeah,
6 games,
yeah, exactly.
and then we're not even here next year to talk about
Yeah,
what
right.
next year. You know, if
Right.
we only win 5 or 6 games, we might all be fired.
Yeah, and
it's-
Ed's look was, well, if I only win 5 or 6 this year, I won't get fired, but I'll get fired next year if I
Right.
don't win
Right.
7 or 8.
Right.
You know,
so go get as many as you can with Etling. You got a bigger ceiling this year, and next year we know it's probably going to be bad no matter what.
Yeah,
And so
yeah.
I think that's the right play. There's no question about it. The problem is he didn't finish the deal, and he opened himself up by losing to Notre Dame and it
Sure.
being just a cluster. You know, I look at that loss and I watched the game and the offense was just a mess. If you know what you're looking for, you know that people were taking the wrong steps. You know, Danny Etling's running play action to the left and the guy's running to the right. You know, there was just blown plays and just sloppy football throughout the entire game as if they weren't truly prepared.
Yeah, and the better scenario, and I don't think they could have done this, but if they could have done this, they should have fired Canada immediately
Right.
after the
When
regular
you
season.
knew what you were gonna do.
And put Ensminger in, but I don't think Ensminger was ready to take the job
Yeah.
then. And they still had to settle things contractually with Canada. So it's been a
and
big
then
mess.
And then you had the early signing
Yeah.
signing period,
Right.
and you didn't
Right.
want to blow that up. You wanted
Right.
that to,
Right.
you know, at least get that early signing period in, and you know, because you could get most of you guys then anyway. So there's a lot of reasons. Well,
I'll tell you this, though. Ensminger will have Miles Brennan more prepared to play, if it's Brennan, I think it will be, than Cameron had Brandon Harris ready to play in that Auburn game. That was embarrassing. That kid was not coached up for that game.
Well, it was-
Ensminger will get him coached up.
Well, there was some reports came out this past week that Miles Brennan and his dad and all them met with, you know, the coaching
Ensminger,
staff and
right.
Ensminger and all that to learn the future and the direction of the program moving forward on offense. I didn't see anything about Narcisse's family, you know, meeting with the coaching staff. So
That's
you know,
this week. That's
this week. Huh? Yeah. So I mean, you know, who's going to be the quarterback? I mean, look, they're not going to come out and say Miles Brennan's going to be the quarterback because they don't want Narcisse to leave. They
Right,
got to have a
exactly.
backup. So
Exactly.
they're gonna-
In fact,
yeah.
there was some floating out to some of the media
Oh yeah,
out
yeah.
there that
Hey,
Narcisse
he's
is
looking good in
really
practice.
good. Yeah,
Really
You
looking
know,
good in practice, and
Yeah.
that's so that he stays till next season, through next
Right.
season. Because if they comes out of spring ball and they go, it's Miles Brennan's, the Narcisse is adios amigo, transferring, and you know now they've got you know a walk on basically.
But really, regardless of who wins the job in the spring, both of them need to stick around
Right.
at least through next season, because just because you win the job in the spring, we'll see how you do. Because, I mean, Brennan could win the job in the spring, look good, and then all of a sudden not look good, and then Narcisse enters
Right.
the picture. So it behooves both of them to go through at least one season.
And then, hey, I mean, what's wrong with having a package for Narcisse if Brennan
Oh,
is the guy?
yeah.
Having a couple different packages, you know, a la Tebow back in the day when he was a freshman, you know, give him some opportunity. So.
Yeah, and you know, and again, we're where we always were. You know, they always criticize Les for having a drop back guy and a run guy, and that's still what they have.
Well, and then the other thing too is I don't have a whole lot of confidence on this offensive line next year. It's going to be super inexperienced, and the depth is going to be unbelievably young. You're talking about freshmen on your 2 deep, so you're going to need to be creative, especially in short yardage in the red zone. They're not just going to be able to line up and maul people. So that said, that's where Narcisse gives you some option, you know, with those
Yeah,
legs.
Clapp and Weathersby were big losses, and I didn't know if they'd definitely lose both of those. But you know, Sadiq Charles and Ingram, I mean, those guys were much better linemen by the end of last season than they were in the beginning, and I think they're going to be pretty good next year. So, but again, it's not like a strength of the team. That you
Right.
hope they'll be okay on the offensive line.
I mean, we're here we are, you know, middle of January, back into January, but I'm going to ask it. LSU football, as you look in your crystal ball, Miami to open the season. They've got the run with Georgia and Alabama on the schedule, and of course Florida. We expect that they're going to be better under Mullen. this past year in Vegas, the over under I want to say was 8.5. I think it was 8.5 going into the season.
Eight wins for LSU.
8.5
yeah.
wins was the over under, and I had LSU going 8-4. That was what I had them going.
That's a decent pick. You know, Miami and Georgia do lose a lot of players from last season, but it's hard to pick LSU over 7 or 8 wins.
Yeah, I mean, you know, on paper you're going to say lose to Georgia, lose to Alabama. That's 2. So now you're down
Auburn's
to 10.
pretty good.
You know, Auburn's pretty good. We expect A&M to be much improved. And oh, by the way, you get them over there. You get Florida at home. We expect that they're going to be improved. And we know Mullen's got the formula for beating.
He's got quarterback problems though, but he's a good quarterback coach.
Yeah. So I mean, you know, there's probably, you know, realistically 2 losses somewhere in there as well. So I mean, so you in your mind you're thinking they're at 8-14.
Yeah.
Average, that over under 8 wins is probably the number to beat.
Whereas the last couple of years I was usually around the 9-3,
Right.
something like that. But now it's more 8-4, 7-5. And you know the thing is, LSU is 3 losses a year every year now since 2012. Sometimes a little bit more, never less.
And I'll tell you, if that team next year with all, you know, the offense basically all being brand new, and oh, by the way, a coach, new offensive coordinator, if they can have 8 wins or more, hey, nice job. You know, nice job. I mean, 8-4 playing in whatever bowl that gets you, you know, that's a nice job. You
And
know,
they will be a young team going into 19. You know, because they'll have a quarterback who'll just be a junior or a sophomore. The offensive line will still be young. You know, the defense seems to always be
surprised.
good.
You surprised LSU was able to keep Aranda? Did you think he was gone? When you
No,
heard
I
A&M was
thought they
sniffing
would.
around?
I thought they'd be able to keep him this year, but I don't know how much longer they're going to be able to keep on keeping him.
Right.
You know, I think at some point the NFL may come get him. You know,
Or
think they
A&M may say, let's go to 3.5. You know, I mean, really.
Yeah. Well, you know, A&M, he's not going to have as good players.
Right.
You know, definitely not anytime soon. John Chavis never had the speed and talent on defense at A&M that he had at LSU, and I think Aranda probably realizes that. So he's, you know, a defensive coordinator. You can't really get to a better place as far as the talent. There's a better places to win championships, but you know, as far as the talent and speed in your state, you know, I think his next stop could really be the NFL.
Have we heard Ensminger's number on how much it is a year? Have we gotten word on that yet?
Not for sure, but I think it's going to be right around $1 million.
I mean, you think it'll have it'll be a 7-figure, or you think it'll be like 9?
It might be right under $1 million, but I would say I think it'll be right at $1 million.
Yeah. You know, obviously that's a factor. You know, they had to go cheaper. Not that $1 million is cheap, but it's not $1.5 million. It's not $1.6 million.
Right,
you know, like they were paying.
Right, they're
Canada.
losing
You had to
money
pay
on Canada.
Aranda more. You're losing money on Canada on the
Right.
buyout. You had to go a little cheaper, so it wasn't the time.
Yeah, and you know, by the way, they're throwing $23 million at updating the football facility, which they just finished in 2005.
Right.
And they said they didn't have enough money for Jimbo Fisher. You know,
Yeah.
It's kind of strange how they're doing their math out there.
Skip Bourbon's obviously not the athletic director anymore because he would have been like, ooh, I mean, we won 5 championships at the old box. I mean, you know, we don't need the new stuff. You know?
Exactly. They won the national championship in 2003
Right.
before the
Before the expansion
facility.
and all that kind of stuff. He's Glenn Guilbeau. I'm Ronnie Rance here in LeBaire Studios in Baton Rouge. Before we take a break, I want to tell you about one of our great sponsors. You know, this time of the year, first of the year, let's just say, Glenn, you swung and missed on that Christmas gift for your wife. You thought she was going to like the necklace. She didn't. You took it back. Now you got some money to play with. Or maybe you got, you know, something coming up, or you're tired of walking in that master closet that you're sharing, and it just stuff is all mauled together. You got no room for your stuff, for her stuff, and you're arguing about, you know, space in that master closet or any closet in your home. Well, give the folks over at Ruffino Custom Closets a call. That's Ruffino CustomClosets.com. Don't hit Ruffino's restaurant. You'll see Ruff and Rodrigo on your screen. It's Ruffino CustomClosets.com. They came into my home, redid my closets. They make all of their hardware in Louisiana. It's a Louisiana-based company. Fantastic customer service. Tell them you heard it right here on Sports Church. You'll be a hero. Your wife will love you. RufinoCustomClosets.com. We'll be back with more Sports Church right after this.
Believe window. Experience. Believe window.
When my wife and I started Relief Windows, what we were trying to do, what our goal was to give a quality job to a homeowner. Everybody's scared of contractors. We wanted to change the mold of what that is. Not showing up on time, not answering the phone, somebody running with your money. The reason why you should pick Relief Windows to do your renovation of your home, windows, doors, hardy plank, or siding, is because of the experience, quality service of our company. Service is everything we have. It's the foundation of our company. We're going to show up on time. We're going to do the job right. Over 60% of our customers is customer referral. We're a local company here in Baton Rouge, built in Baton Rouge, staying in Baton Rouge. Okay. The job's not done until you're happy and we're happy. It's built the old-fashioned way, with a handshake. Here at Relief Windows, it's honored to be official window, door, and siding company of LSU Athletics, from one winning team to another.
Believe windows.
Appliance Distributors of Louisiana are appliance experts who have been in business for over 35 years. ADL provides worry-free, full-service solutions for the whole home. ADL works with designers, builders, or individual homeowners like me when I was remodeling my home after the Great Flood in August 2016. ADL offers special homeowner discounts, just like the ones the builders get. Go to ADLappliances.com and see all the major name brands, or stop by their store on Nicholson Drive in Baton Rouge. ADL services the entire state of Louisiana, so call, log on, or stop by today. Appliance Distributors of Louisiana. If you're an avid sports fan, then you need to check out the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame, located in historic downtown Natchitoches, next to the Chateau St. Denis Hotel and the Natchitoches Convention Center. The Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame is where the rich history of Louisiana sports is told through the pictures, artifacts, and by the legends themselves in video archives. Come to the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame and Northwest Louisiana History Museum and visit a world-renowned architectural marvel. For more information and to purchase tickets to the annual Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame events, visit lasportshall.com/purchase.
Welcome back, everybody. Ronnie Rance alongside Glenn Guilbeau here in the LeBaire Studios in Baton Rouge. If you haven't already, I mean, maybe on the there might be a ticket left for Travis Tritt at LeBaire's this week. If you missed out, try Ticketmaster.com. If it's sold out, maybe look on StubHub or something like that. Maybe somebody's selling a ticket. But Travis Tritt's going to be in concert. Trombone Shorty was there this past week. We've got Ron White's going to be performing there in March. Great comedian. So check it all out. Go to Ticketmaster.com or download the LeBaire's Baton Rouge app on one of your smartphones. It's a free app. You can book hotel reservations. You can see who's coming up. You can see who's performing at the Edge Lounge, where they have free music during the week and karaoke and everything else. So if you, for all information, go to LeBaire's Baton Rouge. Download the app free on your phone and get it all taken care of. Glenn Guilbeau joining us. We talked some LSU football. Normally, even though it's basketball season, we'd kind of gloss over LSU basketball. Obviously, they've been disappointing lately. They're 2-5 in the SEC.
Yeah, it's weird.
And we thought they'd be a little bit better. But I told people, look, going into the season, LSU basketball is not going to be good this year. At best, they can maybe make the NIT. They kind of gave us a little taste. You know, they had to win against Houston. They had to win against Michigan. They played Kentucky down to the wire. Had to win at Memphis. Texas A&M on the road. We thought Arkansas on the road. We thought, all right, hey, maybe.
Especially the way they beat Arkansas by 20.
Right.
I mean, they just played flawless, and they haven't won since.
So what's happened since they went up to Arkansas and won by 20? What's wrong with this team right now, I guess?
They, as Will Wade was saying after the loss Saturday in Nashville to Vanderbilt, they said they just haven't been able to get enough guys playing well at the same time.
Right.
And he said even if we could just get 2 or 3 of them playing well at the same time,
Right.
but it hasn't happened. And then when they do play well, they've been blowing games at the end. Not rebounding their own missed free throws, which is not good, and just being in range like against Georgia. They had several chances to win the game, just not finishing games. But they don't have a good post player, and their guards have been kind of inconsistent. So but it is strange. I really was surprised they lost to Vanderbilt because that's a bad team.
Yeah,
the other teams they've lost to are pretty good. Alabama, Georgia, Kentucky are good. Vanderbilt is not any good.
LSU just does not rebound on the
No.
defensive glass or on the offensive end for the visitor and the opponent, and they just don't shoot free throws well. I mean,
Yeah.
it blows.
So
Where's
you really-
Ed Palyabinski? I mean,
Yeah.
Hibiscus or whatever that
They have
I mean,
to shoot well from the outside to win, and then even when they do, if they don't hit the free throws, they're not going to win. So, and now the teams are starting to get better, and they play A&M tomorrow night, and A&M's actually a pretty good team who's been struggling a little bit, and A&M lost to LSU at home by a point, so they're going to have a shot.
Visiting with Glenn Guilbeau, just a couple minutes left to go in the show. LSU basketball, do you think they finished strong enough to make the NIT? Well, obviously not an NCAA tournament team this year, but I mean, can they rally?
They have a chance. They have a chance because they have some good wins.
They're going to be 500 or above.
In the SEC, I don't know if they're going to be 500 in the SEC, but they might be up there around 7 wins, maybe getting close. But it's going to be really close if they get to the NIT.
LSU baseball, the season's coming up right around the corner. Rankings came out in a couple polls. LSU's like 15, 16. They're like the 7th highest ranked team. It's odd, but LSU baseball, in a way, at least in the SEC, an underdog this year.
Yeah, they got a lot of pitching to replace. Losing Poche and Lang, and then Walker gets hurt. So there's going to be some question marks. But you never can count Maneri out. He always seems to figure something out and get close.
Over the last, I think it's 5 seasons, regular seasons, Paul Maneri, the winningest coach in college baseball. I mean, and also, 4 or 5 straight years for the top 8 national seed?
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a lot on the line for LSU, and like you said, I'm sure they'll figure it out. Caleb Gilbert will be their ace. He was the guy that beat Oregon State on that Saturday up in Omaha to put him in the finals. And he was 92 to 95 all season, all fall. With a fantastic slider. They feel like he's going to be right there like a Kevin Gosman and all the other great aces. The question mark, can Zach Hess become the starter? But I don't think it's a bad plan if you leave him in the back end and he throws every 8th and 9th. That's meaningful, right? I mean, if you got Zach Hess as your closer, that's pretty good.
I think they're going to try Zach Hess as the Saturday starter, and then maybe to the end of the season wouldn't be a bad idea to push him into the closer, maybe a dual role, depending on who else develops. But it's going to be interesting to see how he builds the pitching staff.
Glenn, thanks so much for the
All right.
time. Appreciate
Thank
it. Check out Glenn Guilbeau on Twitter at LSUBeatTweet. Thanks to him filling in for Joel Davis this week. We'll be back with more Sports Shorts next week, same time, same station.
If you're an avid sports fan, then you need to check out the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame, located in historic downtown Natchitoches, next to the Chateau St. Denis Hotel and the Natchitoches Convention Center. The Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame is where the rich history of Louisiana sports is told through the pictures, artifacts, and by the legends themselves in video archives. Come to the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame and Northwest Louisiana History Museum and visit a world-renowned architectural marvel. For more information and to purchase tickets to the annual Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame events, visit lasportshall.com/purchase.